Welcome back, everyone, to our Abhidhamma study class with the Sayadaw Venerable Inyadika Linkara. Today is class 15, and we'll be going over the fine material sphere consciousness, or Rūpāvacara Citta. This will be part 1 of that series. So, we'll begin with our agenda with opening with Namo Tassa. Then we will be going straight into the lecture right now. Sayadaw, if you would like to begin yes, Sayadaw, would you like to lead us in Namo Tassa, please?
Okay, let's start our today's Abhidhamma study, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
My apologies from before. And now we will begin the Abhidhamma lecture. Sayadaw, if you would like to start the lecture for us, please. Thank you.
Okay. So today's we are going to study the Rūpāvacara Citta. In previous lesson, we have already studied about the Kamavaccara Citta. We can see that in several lessons. What we have learned is Kamavaccara Citta. So there, you may remember that how many divisions we had divided Kamavaccara Citta. According to the Abhidhamma Sangha. Akusala.
And rootless Cittas,
okay.
and beautiful sincere Cittas.
Okay,
3 groups.
3 groups. Okay, very good. Thank you. So we have studied the Kamavaccara Citta already. Then the last part of Kamavaccara Citta and sincere, beautiful consciousness. Kamavaccara Savana Citta. There we have talked about the Kusala. Kamavaccara Kusala. On the other hand, how is called that group? Kamavaccara Kusala, how can we call that one?
Mahakusala Citta.
Okay, right, thank you. So Mahakusala. That Mahakusala, we already talked about how it works and how what are the results it can produce. So the function really like when the Mahakusala Citta arises is so Dasa Punya Kriya Vatu. You remember Dasa Punya Kriya Vatu?
Yes.
What are the English translation? Can you bring that the translation?
Charity, Dana,
Dana, etc. Right?
Sila, Bhavana.
Okay. Vasayana.
Vyavicha. Patidana. Patanumorana.
Then
Dhamma Desana, Dhamma Savana.
Okay.
And Ditthijukama.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So how can we call these 10? And Dasa Punya Kriya Vatu, right? What is the English translation of the Dasa Punya Kriya Vatu? Anyone?
Meritorious deeds. 10 meritorious deeds.
Right. 10 base of meritorious deed, because the Vatu Punya Kriya Vatu, the Vatu is translated as base. So 10 bases of meritorious deed. And although we say there are 8 wholesome, sincere, wholesome consciousness arise in our mind, but the mind cannot be identified itself. But through the daily life action, we can identify while we are performing the charity or the dana donation. At the time, any of the 8 kusala, mahakusala, citta arise in our mind. And then sila, bhavana, etc. also the same. there, what we have said, all 10 bases apply to the Mahakusala Citta 8. But for the case of Bhavana, and also we can say the Detichukama, that especially the Bhavana apply to, you may remember that not only sincere wholesome consciousness, it can apply to the Rūpāvacara and Arūpāvacara, including the Lokuttara Citta. It can be possible that kinds of consciousness arise in the activity of bhavana. So at the time you are performing the dana, it's possible just arise in the Mahakusala Citta if you can keep your mind in proper way. But sometimes, at the time of the performing dana, the action is dana, but if you cannot keep your mind in proper state, it go to the akusala too. In the action of dana process, because the mind is very, very fast and it powerful. So if we develop improper attention in the process of dana, also, there is possible, I will get something by this dana and then develop the attachment to the result. I will be reborn in the Diva realms and I will enjoy and what are enjoyment like this. So if you consider in this way, during the time you are doing the action of dana, so you can go, your mind can be to the in the wholesome side like this. So okay, it doesn't matter. Just go back to the bhavana. So bhavana apply to the Mahakusala, Rūpāvacara, Arūpāvacara, and also Lokuttara Citta. So today we are going to talk about the Rūpāvacara Citta, which is translated as the fine material sphere consciousness. For the part one, we will introduce about their consciousness and also how they arise. In the process. So first of all, let's talk about the jhana by the name of jhana. So Rūpāvacara and Arūpāvacara, these are called the jhana citta. So here in this slides, I give the list of the word jhana fetters, and jhana citta to study. So the 27 consciousness here, the Rūpāvacara 15. So you already remember the Rūpāvacara 15 and Arūpāvacara 12. How they are called? Mahagata citta, collectively. Two group together, we can call Mahagata Citta 27. So in this way, we can count in other name. In the 89 consciousness, 54 sincere consciousness, and 27 Mahagata Citta, and 8 Lokuttara Citta. So become easier. Less group and easier. Okay, so their Mahagata Citta are called jhana citta. Why we can call them jhana? So let's go back to the jhana, the word jhana. Jhana translated as absorption. So let's see. Here, jhana is meditative attainment. Without the meditation, you cannot attain the jhana. Because the jhana is meditative attainment, only when you meditate and you are successful in the meditation process, at that time, you attain the jhana. So, and also not all meditator can get the jhana because that is the high meditation attainment, meditative attainment. Only when the meditator can pass state by stage, then finally attain the jhana through the concentration meditation or the serenity meditation. So development of samatha meditation. There are two types of meditation. There is samatha meditation, the serenity or calm meditation. On the other hand, is called the concentration meditation. But the concentration need in both sides of samatha and vipassana. So samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. So vipassana meditation is translated as insight meditation. If the meditator practice serenity or calm meditation, samatha meditation, and if he or she is successful, will attain the jhana. Because the successful state of samatha meditation is the attainment of jhana. So if someone only meditate following the samatha meditation, he will attain the jhana only. He will not develop the mega up to the mega stage. So for those who wish to develop up to the mega stage, the yogi need to practice vipassana meditation. Now, these are the two types of meditation. Then, so now we understand what is jhana. The jhana is meditative attainment of the serenity meditation. It can be attained through the development of concentration. So especially emphasize on the concentration. But not only concentration is developed, the other jhana factor also need to be in balance. Here, if we study about the Rūpāvacara jhana, 5 material sphere, there are 5 constituents or 5 factors or jhana. They are mentioned there. So in Pali, they are called jhananga. Here, I just bring the jhana factor. Actually, in Pali, we can see the jhananga, jhana and anga. So anga factors. So here, we can count the jhananga. Can you pronounce the jhananga in Pali?
Vitaka,
Vitaka, then
Vichara,
then
Piti,
okay,
Sukha,
then
Ekagata.
right, very good pronunciation. So I just check whether you still remember or not about the Pali pronunciation, right? Okay, it's good job. So Vitaka translated as the initial application, and Vichara sustained application. So these two are very close or connection, very similar nature. So Vitaka is usually explained comparing the first heading, the flying to the flower of the flying of the bee to the flower. So first time making effort, heading to the flower is compared to the Vitaka. So Vitaka cause the consciousness to apply to the object, meditation object. So if you are focused on the breathing, your mind headed to the breathing. So that is the work of Vitaka, initial application. After that, your mind keeping on the your breath, which is the object of meditation. That this is compared to the Vichara, so the work of Vichara. So, but these are not the long time, very short time, but only in the example we can differentiate by the time. But actually, these two mental factors are arising together in the same mind moment. So, this is a Vitaka, or this is Vichara. And we can identify only through their nature, natural characteristic. Okay, so Vitakka is application, Vichara also application. Two application have the a little bit different function. Then Piti is zest, and Sukha, happiness, and Ekaggata, one-pointedness. These are 5 factors of jhana. So when they are imbalanced, imbalance means they all are powerful, strength in the strength. And at that time, they bring the consciousness to the certain level of meditative attainment. That is called jhana. If all 5 can be found at the moment of attainment, that is regarded as the first jhana. So if we count, we will see that if we count the types of the consciousness in the list, you will see the first jhana accompany all the 5 mental factors of the jhana factor. We call the jhananga. So here the explanation is the unification of 5 mental factor imbalance is called jhana. So now we have to make sure that you understand. Jhana means unification of 5 mental factors in balance. That is jhana. Okay. So if any of jhana factor, Vitakka or Vichara, arise in the enough strength, but the others still weak, we cannot say the jhana. That state is not jhana. And also, if fall in enough strength and still one factor is weakened, so we cannot say the jhana. Only when these 5 factors are in balance and having enough strength, that state is called jhana. So unification. So all that unification is called jhana. Each of them are also not called jhana. Vitakka is not jhana, Vichara is not jhana. In the same way, the Ekaggata itself is not jhana. But the 5 factors together in unification is called jhana. So now we understand that the jhana is not separate ultimate reality. It is not a citta. Now we already see mental factors. The unification of the mental factor is called jhana. That's why jhana is not the name of citta. Jhana is not the name of rupa, etc. So jhana is the unification of 5 mental factors in balance. Okay, and now you understand each of these Vitakka, etc. are called the jhananga, jhana factors. So now make sure that jhana and jhana factor are different. So why they are called jhana when they are in unity? Let's see the literal meaning of the jhana. It's called to contemplate or to burn up. 2 meanings. To contemplate on the object. So if we focus on the breath or any meditation object, that contemplation, deeply contemplate on that, is called the work of jhana. So these 5 factors, when they are in balance, this unification, the power closely contemplate on the object. That is the work of jhana. And another work is the burn up. So when they are in unification and powerful enough in the level of jhana, they burn off the opposite mental state of the mental hindrances, nivarana. These are called nivarana. So directly opposite to concentration. In the practice of samatha meditation, one develops the 5 factors in the starting level, into the starting level. At that time, they are called jhana. Then when we can call in the certain level of jhana, they are working two aspects, focusing on the object, contemplating, deeply contemplating on the object, and burning off the 5 mental hindrances. So 5 mental hindrances are the opposite to the 5 jhana fetters. So now here I already gave the list of 5 mental hindrances. This is the popular collection. So in many sutta already mentioned. So can you bring these 5 mental hindrances name in Pali? So here Nivarana, we can call the collectively them Nivarana, but they have their respective name. Can you bring in Pali?
Kamichanda,
Right.
Vyabhada,
Right.
Tinamita,
Okay.
Odessa Gogosa,
Right.
Vitikesa.
Okay. So Kamachanda, Prabhada, Vyabhada, Tinamita, Odacha Kukucha, Vichikicha. So for us, it's a very easy list and to easily can pronounce easily. We can bring easily, but for those of you who have some difficulty, if you didn't practice for pronunciation and also the keeping some collection in the mind. So jhana, pata, vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata, nivarana, or kamachanda, vyavada, tinamita, odaja kukucha, vichikecha. So you need to practice. Then, okay, so now the meaning of jhana is contemplating or burning up. These two aspects are worked by the unification of 5 mental fetters, 5 jhana fetters at the same time. So now we are going to talk about the citta, because now we are studying about the citta. So that is jhana citta. Originally, the name of jhana is the unification of 5 mental fetters, and we, on the other hand, we can say the name of the mental fetters, cittasika, not the citta. So why we can say the jhana citta? So here, jhana citta is consciousness. The consciousness which accompanied by jhana is called jhana citta. Now we can understand why we can name this consciousness as the jhana citta, because it accompanied by jhana. So if we say the jhana, we have to remember the fetters of jhana, 5 fetters. Okay, so the vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata, these are not actually not special mental fetters we can find in the beautiful mental fetters. If we study the mental fetter group by group, we can find all of them in the pakinaka or the beautiful like this. So these are arising in our common living. Now also in your mind, the vitaka arising, mostly arising, you know. And when we study about the association or accompanying method of the consciousness and mental fetter, how they arise together, and you will understand, oh, vitaka is arising in my mind in daily life. And vichara, sometimes piti, sukha, and concentration. So these are, these are not special mental fetters. So how they can then perform the special text as a jhana or as a jhana fetter? Here in balance, when they are in balance in the certain states, they can contemplate and they can burn off the opposite nivarana, opposite mental fetters of nivarana. At that time, they are called jhana. And also each of them can be called jhana fetters. So that also only when the meditation times, you know, the successful state of meditation process only. Or in normal living, in common living, so although vitaka, vichara, etc. arising, they are not called jhana. Okay, now we understand what is jhana, what are the jhana fetters, and why we can call the consciousness jhana citta. Then so the jhana citta are altogether 27. So Rūpāvacara jhana citta 15 and Arūpāvacara jhana citta 12. This is already mentioned in the list. Okay, so let's move on. The meditation. So today is related to the meditation. So now, first of all, let me talk about the 3 stages of meditation development. So in the meditation development, the first one is called Parikamma Bhavana, preliminary development, Upacara Bhavana, access development, and Appana Bhavana, absorption development, is translated as absorption. Actually, this word Appana apply the attainment of jhana, mega, and phala. So not only absorption. So if we translate the jhana as absorption, so if we translate the Appana Bhavana also absorption development, it can be easily confused because all is attainment of jhana. But later on, when we learn Abhidhamma, we will see another Appana Bhavana is applied to the mega and phala too. That's why I mentioned that. So the word Appana Bhavana can cover all the attainment of jhana, mega, phala. Okay, so this is the weakness of the language. So we can, maybe the senior scholars, they couldn't find the more suitable than the absorption. That's why he translated the absorption development. The same with the jhana. Okay, so Parikamma Bhavana, Upacara Bhavana, Appana Bhavana in Pali. So preliminary development, asset development, and absorption development. You need to keep this in the mind. So, and another collection is the, the 3 stages of meditation sign. Here, Bhavana is called development. So here, Bhavana, development. Then, Nimitta. Sign is nimitta in Pali. That's why, and 3 stages of meditation sign, or 3 types of, we can say the 3 types of meditation sign. Same. So Parikamma nimitta, preliminary sign. So here Parikamma preliminary. Parikamma preliminary same. Then the second one different. So in the development bhavana, we say the Upacara Bhavana. But in the nimitta, Ugaha nimitta, second one is Ugata nimitta. Ugaha nimitta, it is translated as learning sign. Also, still not complete translation. Learning is not enough to express the meaning of the Ugaha. But anyhow, still we can use. Then the last one is Paṭippada nimitta. It's translated as counterpart sign. So these are 3 meditation sign for the samatha meditation. Samatha meditation, these are. And okay, so trying to remember that. Parikamma Bhavana, Upacara Bhavana, Appana Bhavana, Parikamma nimitta, Ugaha nimitta, Paṭippada nimitta. Okay, I will explain more about them. Here, firstly, the Parikamma Bhavana. So what is Parikamma Bhavana, which is translated as the preliminary development? So as we have said, the Bhavana, one of the 10 bases of meritorious deed, is translated as a development, mental development actually. So, but in many times we translate meditation, meditation. But the meaning of bhavana is quite equivalent to the meaning of the development, mental development, other than the meditation. So because there are many different types of meditation, not applying to the mental development, just the name of meditation, but not applying to the mental development. That's why for myself, I prefer to use the bhavana to mental development. Okay, so mental development is divided into 3 stages: preliminary stage, access stage, and absorption stage. So here, absorption stage is attainment. When yogi is successful, he will attain the absorption, or he will reach to the absorption development level. But anyhow, he or she can start from the preliminary stage. This is everyone can get. So when you get start at the time of beginning, so this is the preliminary development. You already get the first stage, right? You don't need to start from the zero. Don't worry, right? You start from the number one, very kind, right? So Parikamma Bhavana, you just if you focus on meditation object, yes, you are in the first level, the preliminary development. Until in your mind, the 5 mental hindrances are suppressed and counterpart sign arise. That is called the Parikamma Bhavana. So just before, as long as counterpart sign does not arise, you are in the Parikamma Bhavana. Okay, so Parikamma Bhavana, the meditator, his mind is developing to suppress 5 mental hindrances. So when you are meditating, focusing on your meditation object, during that time, 5 mental hindrances arise according to the condition. Have you ever had that experience? So if you meditate, you already have, right? If you meditate and your mind distraction, cannot focus on the meditation object, going around wandering thought, and regret, oh, I missed this, or I had done this, the kukucha is called. And sometimes you sensual pleasure, that you remember about the entertainment you have experienced, the sound come into your mind, but not into your ear. But still, you are considering about the taste of the sounds. Oh, I enjoy. But these are called the sensual desire, or the food. Whatever you have enjoyed about the sensual pleasure appear in the mind. This is the work of sensual pleasure. Then the vyavada. So, why I cannot concentrate on the object? I am focusing on the breath and why it's going around, and then not satisfying on that, and then developing up to the level of anger. And this is called the vyavada. And also sometimes, very boring and sleepy or drowsiness comes in, then tinamida. And whether this is right or not about the meditation technique or the developing the vicikiccha. So these are the mental hindrances. As long as they are arising, you cannot reach to the next level. So you will be in this, sticking in the same level of preliminary development, focusing and arising the mental hindrances again and again. This is the first level. So if you are doing so, okay, I'm already arrived in the first level of meditation, right? So you don't need to worry. At least first level, you will not go down to the 0 level, as long as you are meditating, no problem. Then, so for the Rūpāvacara Bhavana, second one is asset development. So asset one, as we say, the asset road, this asset road, it means that's going into somewhere, that the road go into somewhere. We call the asset road. And so in the same way, asset development lead to the attainment. It's like an asset road of the house going into that. So when it started, mean that it started when the 5 mental hindrances become suppressed. So when we meditate and practicing, by the time our concentration level higher, the rarely occur the 5 mental hindrances. Finally, not have a chance to arise 5 mental hindrances. Then our mind focus on the meditation object. Then also counterpart sign already emerged. So focusing on the counterpart sign. So that stage is called the asset development. Rūpāvacara Bhavana. Rūpāvacara Bhavana. This, in the other hand, this is very popular one, the Upachara Samadhi. Upachara Samadhi. For the Vipassana practitioner, they need this level. Although, you know, the many are talking the Sutta Vipassana, very popular one, you know, that, oh, we practice only Vipassana meditation. We are not practicing the concentration meditation. But, you know, that without the power of concentration, nobody can attain the level of wisdom, the development of wisdom. That's why here, as a development, cover that level, you know, that to become the essence for the attainment. As I said, the attainment, so jhana attainment, mega phala attainment, all attainment come through the essence. So arise through the essence. So here, essence development, for the samatha meditation, when the 5 mental hindrances are suppressed, they don't have a chance to arise. And also sometimes accordingly, if they arise, also not that powerful to disrupt. And because they are suppressed, already suppressed there, by the opposite power of the vitakka, vichara, etc. So when the meditator could develop 5 mental factors in the certain level and keep in balance jhana factors, right? Then they suppress the 5 mental hindrances because they are opposite, as I said in the first slide. So they are opposite. When they are developed and keep in balance, they suppress the 5 mental hindrances. Then when 5 mental hindrances are suppressed, in the process of samatha meditation, and the counterpart sign emerges. So we just directly talk about the counterpart sign, because after that we will talk about the sign itself. So counterpart sign arise. So from the moment counterpart sign arise up to the moment of change or lineage, which is called the Godrabu. So Godrabu is very interesting one. If we identify by the ultimate reality, it is the consciousness, one of the 4 jnana sampayutta sense pure consciousness, kusala or the functional consciousness, the kriya consciousness, right? So on the other hand, mahakusala or mahakriya, still sense pure consciousness. So that's why it covers from the time the counterpart sign arises, because the 5 mental hindrances are suppressed, the concentration level becomes stable. At that time, the meditation sign come into the stage of counterpart sign. From that time on to the moment of the Godrabu, this process is called, the time period is called the Upachara Bhavana. Upachara Bhavana. So if the meditator is practicing the samatha meditation after Godrabu, the jhana moment arises. So jhana is called the absorption development. The end of Upachara Bhavana as a development is Godrabu moment. Then after the absorption development arises, so that is jhana consciousness, jhana's mind, jhana consciousness. Okay, so we can say that from the beginning, meditator trying to suppress 5 mental hindrances, developing jhana factors, practicing on that. By the time 5 mental hindrances are suppressed and counterpart sign arise, at the time the stage change, mental stage, mental development shift to the preliminary stage to the essence stage. Then it continued to the moment of Godrabu, because after Godrabu, jhana arises. So up to the moment of Godrabu, it is called the essence development. After Godrabu moment, then jhana arises. So when jhana arises, we call the last moment Appana Bhavana, absorption level. So we have to make sure we understand this division of the practice, mental development. So here, what is called Godrabu? So immediately after that, after that moment, the absorption arises in the samatha meditation. It is called, that moment is called Godrapu. And in the Vipassana practice, inside meditation process, just immediately after that moment, Magga arises. That is called Godrapu. So Godrapu can be in samatha meditation and also Vipassana meditation. Then this is called Godrapu. So in the third level, absorption, so the first moment of jhana is called the absorption development. Then also we can say the jhana, the attainment of jhana in two types. One is when someone in this life, he has never experienced and he practiced, then attain the jhana. At that time, the jhana moment just arises one time and then drop into the bhavanga. The bhavanga process arises. Then if he is continuing practicing, focusing on that, and then starting from the process, then just attain to the jhana again. And from the second time, and then later on, the jhana moment can be longer. Sometimes the millions of mind moment can take place by the jhana. So that is called the attainment, samapatti. So the first time is the first one is we call the adhigamika, the first time attainment. The second one is called the attainment, the samapatti. So anyhow, these two levels are called the absorption development. Okay, so according to the meditation process, the meditator start from the preliminary development. Then when counterpart sign emerge is called asset development step. Just before the attainment of jhana, which is called the Godrapu, up to the moment of Godrapu, is called the second stage of meditation practice. This is called asset development. And finally, if meditator attain the jhana, or on the other hand, in his process, jhana consciousness arises. At that time, absorption development or appana bhavana. This is the three stages of meditation. But if someone practice the vipassana meditation, so he start from the preliminary stage. But at that time, when he or she is focusing on the vipassana process with the preliminary stage, the mind condition, as we call the preliminary development, Parikama Bhavana. So not directly seen to the ultimate reality. Because this very beginning, even that time, even their mental hindrances are rising. So mind is not stable enough to see the ultimate reality directly. Then just trying focusing on the body or mind, because that in the vipassana meditation, only the meditation on mentalities or meditation on materialities, we can classify into two only. If someone focusing on meditation focusing on the mentality, so the object will be mentality, any of the citta or cittasika. And if someone practicing the Rupa Kamathana, which is called the meditation on materiality, the Vipassana practitioner's object will be materiality, any of the materiality. So because the precise object of Vipassana meditation is anicca, dukkha, anatta, any of three characteristics. So without seeing the ultimate reality, how we can see the characteristic? So it is impossible. That's why. So only when the meditator can contemplate on the right object or mentality or materiality, we can say that is real Vipassana meditation. That is real insight meditation. Otherwise, these are just focusing on something else. is called the initial state of the Vipassana meditation, not really real Vipassana. But okay, so after that, suppressing the 5 mental hand results, and the concentration come to the access level. At that time, the meditator really can contemplate on the mentality and maturity, or the characteristic of mentality and maturity. Then practice on that to mature concentration and wisdom. Then when it comes into maturity enough, then the process comes with the Godarabu. After Godarabu, the Metta will come. Paṭipatti Metta will come. This is the process of the Vipassana meditation. So this 3 development mainly explain about the attainment of jhana, leading to the attainment of jhana, but I mean you can apply to the Vipassana practice also. So attainment of Metta. Okay, this is 3 stages of meditation. Then, so here let's talk about the sign, because we already classify the meditation sign or meditation object into the different level. So first one is preliminary sign, Parikamma Nimitta. So for the beginner also, he has a Parikamma Nimitta. If he practices the Dix is called the Paṭivedha. So here is mentioned, given the example of objects, because it can apply any meditation object, any of the 14 meditation object for the preliminary sign. So in the chapter 9 of Abhidhamma Lecture, 14 meditation techniques are explained. They have the different meditation object. So Dix, Paṭivedha is one of them. So if someone wish to practice the meditation on Dix, Paṭivedha, he need to prepare the arts in the round shape, especially made for the meditation object, to make for the meditation object. So seen by the eye on this meditation object, like a tree or the plate in front of the yogi, putting the Dix. So focusing on that in the specific area of the Dix, seen by the eye. So he is trying to concentrate on the Dix. This is his meditating. He's meditating. So that Dix is preliminary sign. Okay, let's move on. Very popular to that one, the breathing. So if someone meditate on breathing, on the breath, so focusing on the breath is not by the eye, this is by the mind. So your mind focus on that. At that time, the breath is, we can say that is a group of maturity. Breathe in and breathe out. Anyhow, that is called the breath. In or out, it doesn't matter. That your breath is your meditation object. That is called the preliminary sign or preliminary object. So if you close the eye and then just focus on the breathe in, your breath is called meditation sign, preliminary sign. If you are not meditating, it does not call the meditation sign. Although you are breathing and breathe out, it just normally happen in that. Okay, so starting from the preliminary sign, the meditation started. So that called the bhavana stages is called preliminary development. So for the bhavana side, the stage is preliminary development, parikamma bhavana. The sign is parikamma nimitta. This is very beginning. Every time you are doing that, as before you attain another sign, another stage of sign, you can say this is preliminary sign. Breathing, your breath or any other object, it doesn't matter. At the beginning, it's called the preliminary sign. The development also preliminary development, parikamma bhavana and parikamma nimitta. Okay, later on, if continue the practicing that for the artics practicing on the artics, Paṭipatti Citta, no need to see by the physical eye. So it appear in the mind. So comprehend enter to the range of mind door. It means that although you close your eye, that artics appear in your mind. How clear? It means as if it was seen by your physical eye. So formerly you are focusing by physical eye, you see that. Then you try to concentrate, the development is preliminary stage and the sign is preliminary sign. Then later on, you close your eye and the object still appear in the mind. As if it was seen by eye. At that stage, it is called the learning sign. So, Ukkaha Nimitta, learning sign, Ukkaha Nimitta. But still, the development is still the preliminary development, because you know that we already identified only when the counterpart sign appear, the excess concentration arrives, right? You remember that. So still continue the preliminary development, but the sign, the level of sign change to the second stage, Ukkaha Nimitta, because no need to say the preliminary already have some certain level for the sign. That's why if someone is practicing the Paṭipatti Citta, then if he can see by the eye very clearly, as if he is seen by the physical eye, oh, I don't need to see by my eye, because I can recall it in the mind clearly. So no need to bring it and put it aside, and then just close the eye and then focus on that. That is appearing in the mind. So that sign is called learning sign, Ukkaha Nimitta. After that, it continue the concentration, you know, the developing on the learning sign again and again and again. And finally, you know, the learning sign become counterpart sign, counterpart sign. So what is the difference, the learning sign and counterpart sign? So in the learning sign, still have the some faults or some flaws in the original object, because the learning sign is a kind of image of the mental image of the meditation object, the original meditation object. That's why it's very similar. You know, if you copy and if original one have the any mark, the copy also the same. In the same way, in the learning sign, it continue keeping the flaws of their original meditation object. Flaws are. So if you have some flaw on the artics, it will continue in the learning sign also. But for the counterpart sign, it already removed. No more flaws, because it's free of the flaws of the original object. Become brighter. And it is totally concept, no more reality at all. You know, it's a totally concept and born of meditation. Not because of imagination. It really appear in the mind because of meditation. So these are the characteristic of the counterpart sign to differentiate from the learning sign. Okay, so very similar, because they have the same basis of artics, focusing on the artics and develop the mental quality. And firstly, can see the real object. Then later, no need to see the real object, then keep in the mind mental object. After that, become the standard object of meditation. It's because it can give rise to the attainment. That's why we can say that this is very important part. Also, counterpart sign is very, so it fits in the mind, easily connect by the mind, because it's born of the concentration, born of the meditation, born of the concentration. So concentration is affected by the sign. the sign is produced by the concentration, then supporting each other and is arise to the next level of the Apana Bhavana. So, okay, so until the counterpart sign arise, this is called the preliminary development, right? Then when the counterpart sign arise, okay, let's see here. When the counterpart sign arise, then SS development is accomplished. So this means SS development start. Then focusing on the counterpart sign, if meditator continue practicing on that, the counterpart sign is brighter than the landing sign and clearer than the landing sign, flawless. Very easy to meditate on that. Then all obstacles are already abandoned. At that time, the jhana, first jhana attainment arise. So when the first jhana attainment arise, it is called the absorption development. So 3 meditation sign and 3 mental development are connected each other in this way. Okay, so what we have to talk is before the attainment of jhana, all the mind movement in jhana stage, jhana moment, you can identify kusala, mahakusala take place for the ordinary person and trainees, sekha, puthojana and sekha, mahakusala at the moment of meditation, the citta bhavana. Then when the first jhana arises, so first jhana is 5 material sphere types. Now we move on to the sensual sphere to the 5 material sphere. On the other hand, Kamavachara to Rūpāvacara. So in this, the part 1, what I want to say is to let you understand how these consciousness are arising in the practical, our daily life practice, our practice in the meditation practice, and also how the sensual stage to the 5 material stage or the Mahakata stage arise, the give rise. They're based upon the sensual consciousness, the first jhana arise. So that is called the Rūpāvacara arise. Okay, so let's see here. The first jhana, what does mean? They are after the attainment of first jhana. So first jhana mean, you may remember that the unification of 5 fetters is called the first jhana, right? So what are the fetters? 5 fetters.
Vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata.
Of course, yes. If these 5 fetters come into the certain level and they imbalance. So they push the consciousness into another level. It's called the jhana. That's when they are called jhana or jhana citta. Okay, so if someone is practicing on the meditation, they're focusing on the object, then the stage, the object or the sign come into the different level, a preliminary sign, then the landing sign, the counterpart sign. The focusing on the counterpart sign, the attainment comes, so jhana arise, right? This process is clear. Okay, so after the attainment of jhana, if someone went to attain the second jhana, etc., the higher level, so he need to practice to be mastery in 5 cases. In 5 cases. So for the first jhana, advertence, avajana, and the samabhajana attainment, and making resolution, then emergence from the first jhana, and reviewing pachavakana. So in these 5 texts, he need to practice again and again to attain the first jhana. Then after that, he become mastery of the first jhana. Then later on, he develop his mind, continue his development. So then the abandoning the vidyaka. So by the power development of the concentration power. For the second jhana, Vitakka is already dropped the Vitakka, so no more Vitakka. Starting from Vichara, and the four fetters only four fetters can be found at that time. Oh, where is Vitakka? No more Vitakka in this concentration. So that is called second jhana. That is called second jhana. So first jhana and second jhana, what is different? First jhana consists of Vitakka and 5 jhana fetters. Altogether, 5 jhana fetters can be found. For the second jhana, no more Vitakka. Only 4 jhana fetters can be found. That's called Vichara. And the concentration is already leveled up to the second jhana. So in this way, and the meditation process continue. So first jhana attainment, after the practice in that, and the second jhana attainment, third jhana, fourth jhana, like this, if we continue. So this is how one can attain the jhana and how can develop to the higher level of jhana. Okay, so let's see here the name of the consciousness, because now we need to learn about the consciousness. We already explained about the meditation, and now this is the class to study Abhidhamma, for the meditation. So we need to come back to Abhidhamma. Here, let's classify. So 5 material sphere consciousness altogether 15. They are divided into 3 groups. So first group, Kusala, as usual, the same as sense sphere beautiful consciousness. 3 groups are Kusala, Vipaka, and Kriya. So Kusala, wholesome 5, Vipaka 5, Kriya 5, altogether 15 5 material sphere consciousness, Rūpāvacara Citta. Okay, so for the Kusala Citta, how it become 5? First jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, fifth jhana. By the name, it become the 5 consciousness. So first jhana Citta, second jhana Citta, third jhana Citta, fourth jhana Citta, fifth jhana Citta. They are all are Kusala. That's why Kusala are 5. So how can and identify the jhana Citta is by the jhana fetters. As I explained, the jhana fetters, jhananga. So if that consciousness is accompanying 5 jhana fetters, that is called the first jhana. It's called complete the 5 jhana fetters, Vitakka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekaggata. That is first jhana. Here, as I said, is the concentration power is developed. Then the no more Vitakka. Starting from Vichara, 4 jhana fetters. Then that is called second jhana, jhana Citta. Then, okay, so Vichara also drop. No more Vichara, starting from the Piti, Sukha, Ekaggata. Only 3 jhana fetters can be found in that precise moment of jhana consciousness. It is called third jhana. And Piti also drop. Only happiness, Sukha, and Ekaggata only found as a jhana fetter. So at that time, we call the fourth jhana. Then finally, the last one. It's no more dropping any fetters, just changing the fetters of feeling. So happiness, Sukha, change to the Upekha. And if we can find the Upekha and one pointedness is called the Ekaggata as a jhana fetter, that is called fifth jhana. So in this way, according to the accompanying jhana fetters, the Kusala Citta are classified into 5. So in this way, it becomes the 5 jhana fetters and 5 types of Kusala Citta. Then in the same way, because the Vipaka are produced by the Kusala, that's why it is identical with the cause Kusala. So if we say if the first Kusala jhana Citta, and on the other hand here we can say the first Vipaka jhana Citta, like this. So these Vipaka are not arising in this sensual plane of existence. That is the Paṭisandhi or Bhavanga or Jutti moment of the jhana realm. So Brahma realms, the specific jhana realm. then there they arise. Then Kriya. So if Arahat practice this concentration meditation, then if he attain, that is not called the Kusala Jhana, it's called the Kriya in the Arahat process. So the difference is if ordinary person, Puthujjana or trainee, Sikha, they practice samatha concentration, and if these are successful and they attain the jhana, that jhana is called Kusala Citta. That Citta is Kusala Citta. If Arahat practice and if he get attainment, then they are called Kiriya Citta. This is the only difference. So the number are the same, not difficult. Okay, so let me explain about this column, the brief explanation. So here, in each jhana, wholesome one, resultant one, functional one, because here the same enumeration are shared into the resultant and kriya also. That's why first jhana 3. So first jhana 3 means wholesome first jhana, resultant first jhana, functional first jhana. So in this way, in the 5 material sphere consciousness, we can say first jhana 3, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, fifth jhana. All 5 jhana have the three types. So total become the 15 consciousness. Okay. So if you identify by the fetters, Vittaka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekagata, that is first jhana. Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekagata, second jhana. Piti, Sukha, Ekagata, third jhana. Sukha, Ekagata, fourth jhana. Upekha, Ekagata, fifth jhana. And after that, we can multiply by the 3 of wholesome, resultant, and functional. It becomes 15. 5 become 15. So in the Rūpāvacara, each jhana have the 3 types. 3 types. Okay, so enumeration also you have to remember first. But if we say only the Rūpāvacara Citta, very clear, very easy, because you know that Kusala, Vipaka, Kriya, each of them have the 5, and first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, fifth jhana, each of them have the 3. It's okay. But if we count it together with the Rūpāvacara Citta, immaterial sphere consciousness, it was complicated because all Rūpāvacara Citta are the types of fifth jhana. The types of fifth jhana. That's why if we count, it becomes the different number in the fifth jhana. So fifth jhana become here 3, in Rūpāvacara 12 become 15. And in the lecture time, no problem. You can easily remember, not difficult. But later on, after the class finish, if we talk about the Abhidhamma, okay, so come to confusion. So just trying to keep in mind so that you cannot get confusion in the discussion. Okay, so now it's finished to explain. So in this lesson, I have explained about how the consciousness arises, sense pure consciousness arises in the meditation. So before the attainment, sense pure process are arising, right? So now you are meditating 1 hour, or 2 hours, 7 days, okay, no problem. But as long as you could not develop up to the level of absorption, the process arising is sensual consciousness only. If you can keep in proper way, kusala arise in your mind. Yeah. Okay, focusing on the meditation object and okay, try developing concentration at the time of mahakusala arising. Sometimes jnana samyutta, sometimes jnana vipyutta also, you know, because we cannot keep all the time the jnana in the process. And after that, wandering thought come into your meditation, you know, that, and suspicion come into your mind, or akusala also, you know, you are thinking that, oh, I'm meditating, I develop kusala, but depends on the quality of meditation mind, you know, how you meditate. And sometimes kusala, sometimes akusala also still arising, but it is much is lesser than the ordinary living. When you are meditating, if you can keep the proper intention, yoniso manasikara, okay, the more opportunity to arise the Mahakusala. So, and now we understand Mahakusala also arises in our meditation process. And then finally, if we are successful and the attainment of jhana, Rūpāvacara consciousness arises. Jhana. Okay, now, okay, I'm going to stop here my explanation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Sayadaw, for the Abhidhamma lecture. We are now going to move on to the question and answer session. The live streaming will end here. We'll begin shortly. Thank you for everyone who is joining us from the